There is someone who is deeply reflecting on the way they treated you, how they spoke to you, how they appeared in your life, whether in friendship, in a relationship, or in another situation. This person is blaming themselves, for when they realized you withdrew your energy, the impact you had became clear. They know you were a blessing in their life, and now the regret haunts them, slowly consuming them. However, out of pride and ego, they resist apologizing, even though it is eating them from the inside. It's important to understand that your position as a chosen one is special. Your energy was a source of peace and healing for those around you, something they only realized when you distanced yourself. The divine presence in your life brought light to dark situations, and now, without you, these people are lost. Many of them are experiencing dreams and memories about you, full of remorse, but they don't know how to return. They know they made mistakes, but they are unable to admit it. Perhaps at some point, you wondered if these people regret or recognize the harm they caused. The answer is simple. The regret is there, even if it's not shown externally. However, this is not meant to give you false hope or make you feel better about the situation. It's just the truth. Someone is indeed feeling the weight of what they did to you. You were a blessing, offering only reciprocity and genuineness, but pride and blindness prevented them from appreciating it. These situations have biblical parallels. The story of Judas, who betrayed Jesus, teaches us that often regret comes too late. Judas delivered an innocent man, and when he realized what he had done, he was overwhelmed with remorse. The same happens in the life of a chosen one. People around you may have been influenced by bad company or voices that planted doubt and discord, and they ended up betraying someone who only offered them light and love. Now, the regret is chasing them. They believed lies, misunderstood your intentions, and treated you poorly. However, just as Judas was necessary for the fulfillment of a greater purpose, these people also played a part in your spiritual growth process. They were used in a way that allowed you to reach new levels of healing, growth, and learning. The circumstances in which you were betrayed or mistreated may seem unfair, but they were necessary for your development. Just as Jesus knew Judas would betray him, you were also prepared to face these adversities and overcome them, emerging stronger. An undeniable truth is that the roles have changed. Before, you were available, accessible, and always willing to help. But now, by withdrawing your energy, you've reversed the dynamic. Your absence has become more powerful than your presence. They feel the difference, and even if they won't admit it, they are deeply affected. Your spiritual connection with these people has been severed, and now they are on the opposite side, feeling the weight of their choices. Throughout this process, you not only changed the lives of these people, but also changed yourself. You stopped accepting less than you deserve. You stopped begging for attention, respect, or affection. Now, you understand your worth and know what you deserve, and that has changed the game. Your absence teaches more than your presence ever could, and these people, who once had access to the best of you, are now learning through the distance. Applaud yourself for having gone through all of this. You know exactly what you endured, what you faced, and how you managed to rise above all the difficulties. No one but you knows the depth of the battles you fought. And despite everything, here you are, stronger and wiser. The regret of others should not be your focus, but rather your own journey of healing and overcoming. It's easy to be deceived by silence or the lack of action. Many may think these people don't regret, but the truth is that, behind the scenes of their lives, they are deeply disturbed. Regret is a constant shadow, and even if it's not evident, it is present. There may have been a time when you felt a deep connection with these people, a bond that transcended physical distance. However, now that you've distanced yourself, that connection has been severed. God is allowing you to heal, but they are still trapped in regret, unable to move forward, because the impact of your absence is immense. When you, as a chosen one, withdraw your energy from someone, it is not just a physical separation, but a spiritual one. The impact of this action goes beyond common understanding because you carry within you a divine essence that illuminates and transforms environments, relationships, and situations. Now, without your presence, these people are facing the weight of their choices. God's judgment is not immediate to human eyes, but it happens at the right time, and those who betrayed a chosen one are living this reality. Your energy, which once kept them balanced, is now gone, and the void left behind is impossible to fill. They are, consciously or not, experiencing the consequences of their actions. There may not be visible signs, but spiritually, these people are being affected. They may physically be present at parties, smiling on social media, but internally, they are facing a battle of remorse, regret, and confusion. Just as you faced your internal struggles in silence, these people are now dealing with their own battles in the shadows. They are wondering why things are no longer working as they used to, why the peace they once felt has disappeared. The withdrawal of a chosen one is always accompanied by a series of spiritual events that often go unnoticed by those trapped in a cycle of pride and ego. God is allowing these people to face the consequences of their actions so they can learn a valuable lesson. They need to understand the value of the light you brought into their lives, and until they recognize this, they will remain trapped in this cycle of regret and pain. This is a necessary phase of learning and growth, not only for them, but for you as well. Just as Jesus knew that Judas would betray him, you were also prepared for this betrayal, knowing that it would result in something greater and more powerful for your spiritual journey. You, who were once ignored, mistreated, or underestimated, are now in a position of strength. Those who once had power over your feelings and emotions are now at the mercy of their own choices. This is the power of role reversal. You are no longer chasing, trying to please, or seeking acceptance. You understand that your peace and joy come from within, and you don't need anyone's validation or approval. And while you grow, these people remain stagnant, trapped in their pride and ego, unable to move forward. They know they lost something valuable, but they still cannot admit it. This is part of the spiritual process they are going through. And you, in your position of peace and growth, are witnessing the hand of God working in your life, removing what is no longer necessary and bringing new blessings. Your actions changed the game for these people. They were used to your nurturing energy, always present, always available, always willing to help. When you withdrew that, there was a shock. They didn't know what to do without you. Your absence created such a large void that now all they can do is regret. Even if they won't admit it openly, the regret is there, and their actions speak louder than any words ever could. You've changed the game for yourself too. Now, you no longer accept crumbs or relationships that don't value you. You've learned the power of your own energy and the impact it has on the people around you. More importantly, you've learned to reserve it for those who truly deserve it. You've redefined the terms of your interactions and set clear boundaries to protect your peace and your heart. Applaud yourself for making it this far. No one, except you, knows the battles you fought in silence, the tears you shed, the nights you couldn't sleep because of the pain and disappointment. And despite all of this, here you are, stronger, wiser, and more at peace than ever before. Your journey of healing is only beginning, and what lies ahead are days of even greater spiritual growth. You are no longer the person who allowed themselves to be repeatedly hurt. Now you are someone who understands the value of your own energy and doesn't waste it on those who don't appreciate it. This is part of the process of being chosen. You were called for something greater, something that many cannot comprehend, and that's why you faced so many battles. But all these battles were to strengthen you and prepare you for what's to come. Behind closed doors, regret is the only companion of these people. They think of you constantly, wondering how they could have acted differently, how they could have valued more what they had. But now it's too late. They know they lost something unique, something they won't easily find again. And that is a harsh but necessary lesson for their own growth as well. They cannot stop thinking about you. There may have been a time when the connection between you was so strong that, even from a distance, you could feel each other. But now, that connection has been severed. God allowed you to heal by distancing you from these people so you could find peace and renewal. And while you move forward, they remain stuck in the cycle of regret, unable to move on. The future is full of promises for you as a chosen one. What lies ahead will be greater and better than anything you've ever experienced. The lessons you've learned along this journey have prepared you for something far more magnificent. And while these people remain trapped in regret, you will continue to grow, heal, and move toward the purpose God has for your life. You are a chosen one. You were called to a specific mission, and every obstacle you faced was preparation for what is to come. Now, you are stronger, wiser, and more prepared than ever to fulfill this purpose. Continue walking in the light, knowing that God is with you every step of the way. Regret. This word carries immense spiritual weight, especially when we talk about those who hurt someone special, like a chosen one. Being chosen means that you carry within you a special energy, a divine mission, and when you are mistreated or undervalued, the spiritual impact of those actions resonates both in heaven and on earth. The regret of these people is not just an emotional reaction, but also a spiritual one. They feel, even unconsciously, that they wronged someone of greater importance, someone protected by God Himself. When you, as a chosen one, withdraw your energy, it's not just an ordinary separation. It is the rupture of something aligned with a higher spiritual purpose. Your presence carried blessings, protection, and growth for the people around you. They may not have realized this at the time, but now, in your absence, the void left behind is deafening. This void is filled with regret, and more than that, with a belated realization that they lost a connection to something divine. Many of these people, despite being consumed by regret, are still governed by pride and ego. This is one of the biggest obstacles preventing many from achieving true healing and reconciliation. Ego makes them avoid approaching you to ask for forgiveness, even though their hearts cry out for it. They refuse to show any sign of weakness, but inside, they are being destroyed by the weight of their actions. Pride and ego are like invisible chains that keep people captive in their own cycles of pain and suffering. These chains, though unseen, are deeply felt in their lives, preventing them from advancing spiritually and emotionally. When these people hurt a chosen one, they realize on some level that something was lost, something special is gone. However, ego acts as a protective barrier, preventing them from admitting their mistakes. It's as if ego tells them that acknowledging the failure would make them appear weak, and the last thing someone dominated by pride wants is to seem vulnerable. This false sense of power provided by ego creates an illusion of control. They believe that by refusing to apologize or admit they lost, they are maintaining control over the situation. But in reality, they are only sinking deeper into their own errors. What they don't realize is that true power lies in vulnerability, in recognizing mistakes, and in the desire to make things right. Ego, however, distorts this truth and prevents growth. The only way to break this cycle is through humility. Humility, often misunderstood, is the key to healing and reconciliation. Being humble does not mean being inferior, but rather having the courage to admit when one is wrong, to recognize that everyone is in a constant state of learning. Humility opens the door to true freedom, as it releases the heart from the bonds of pride and the fear of judgment. However, for many, this is an internal battle difficult to win. They resist humility because they've been conditioned to see vulnerability as a weakness, when in reality, it is one of the greatest strengths one can possess. Thus, those who hurt a chosen one remain trapped in this destructive cycle, while you, by withdrawing your energy, are liberated to move forward. They may not realize it now, but the price they pay for keeping ego in control is much greater than what it would have cost to simply admit their mistakes and seek reconciliation. True peace for them will only come when they are able to set pride aside and embrace humility as a path to healing. The connection you had with these people was not just emotional or physical, but deeply spiritual. When you were present in their lives, your energy served as an anchor, a point of balance that, without them realizing it, kept them centered and connected to the divine purpose. Now that you've distanced yourself, the connection has been broken, and they find themselves lost, without direction, without the peace and harmony your presence provided. This loss of connection goes beyond what the eyes can see. It's a rupture that affects the body, mind, and spirit. Many of these people may be facing deep internal challenges, such as anxiety, insomnia, or feelings of emptiness. They may not be able to identify where these problems come from, but on some level, they know that the absence of your energy is the cause. This is the spiritual impact of a chosen one. Your presence has the power to heal, transform, and bring peace. And when that presence is gone, imbalance sets in. Your journey as a chosen one hasn't been easy. From the beginning, you faced adversities that seemed unfair, betrayals that cut deep, and moments when you questioned your own worth. But each of these struggles was preparation for what was to come. God never allows His chosen ones to go through something without purpose. Everything has a reason, and these difficulties serve to strengthen your faith, refine your character, and prepare you for a higher level of purpose and mission. As you face these challenges, you may have felt alone, as if no one could understand the depth of your pain. But know that God was with you every step of the way. He saw your tears, heard your prayers, and even when it seemed like He was silent, He was working behind the scenes. Every pain you felt, every betrayal you faced, was shaping you into the strong and resilient person you are today. Now, you are at a turning point. What once seemed like a burden is now turning into victory. The pain you endured is being transformed into power, and the struggles you faced are being used to propel you to a new level of glory and blessings. This is the path of the chosen one, a journey of struggle, but also of triumph. The regret of those who hurt you is merely confirmation of your value and your importance in the divine plan. When you withdrew your energy, it wasn't just an act of self-preservation. It was a spiritual move that sent a clear message to the universe. You are no longer willing to accept less than you deserve. And that decision had repercussions not only in your life, but also in the lives of those who wronged you. By distancing yourself, you allowed God's judgment to act. The absence of your energy created such a deep void that these people can no longer ignore it. Your energy was like a light that illuminated the darkest corners of these people's lives. You brought clarity, peace, and joy, and now, without you, they are plunged into the darkness of their own choices. They may try to hide it, but inside they are being consumed by regret and pain. They know they lost something precious, and that loss haunts them day after day. The roles have been completely reversed. Before, you were the one seeking approval, trying to please, doing everything to keep those connections alive. But now, the game has changed. You no longer need to chase anyone. Your absence speaks louder than any words could. And these people, who once had so much power over your feelings, are now at the mercy of their own decisions. This role reversal is a reflection of your spiritual growth. You are no longer the person who allowed themselves to be controlled by the expectations of others. Now, you understand your value and know that you don't need external validation to be happy. You've learned to love yourself, to value yourself, and to trust that God is guiding your steps. And that is something no one can take away from you. The people who hurt you are feeling the weight of this reversal. They know they lost something irreplaceable, and the regret they feel isn't just because of your absence, but because they now understand what you represented in their lives. But for many, pride is still an obstacle that prevents reconciliation. They would rather live with the regret than admit they were wrong. Although regret is painful, it is also a powerful tool for spiritual growth. These people, as they confront their regret, are being called to reflect on their actions and make changes in their lives. Regret is an opportunity for them to turn to God, acknowledge their mistakes, and seek redemption. You may think that these people don't regret their actions, that they feel no remorse, but the truth is that they are deeply regretful. What has happened is that, with the severing of the spiritual connection between you, you are no longer able to sense this energy. This disconnection was allowed by God, so that you could focus on your own healing, so that you could free yourself from the negative influences these people had over your life. Before, the connection was so strong that you could feel what they were going through, even from a distance. There was a constant energetic exchange, and even if you weren't physically present, that spiritual bond made you feel the weight of their emotions. Now, however, God has intervened so that this bond could be cut, so that you could focus on yourself, on your growth, and your healing. This separation is part of the divine process to strengthen and prepare you for what is coming. While you advance on your healing journey, these people remain stagnant, trapped in their regrets and the weight of their choices. They feel your absence as intensely as you once felt your connection with them in the past. But now, you can no longer feel that. What once was an energetic torment, when you absorbed their emotions and feelings, has now been silenced. God is protecting you, allowing the spiritual distance to bring peace to your heart. Even though you no longer feel their regret directly, it is there. Their minds are consumed with thoughts of what they did and what they lost by treating you unworthily. However, this should no longer affect you. God is allowing you to focus entirely on yourself and your healing journey. The peace you are feeling now is the result of this disconnection, and it is necessary for your growth. Their regret, no matter how deep, should no longer be the center of your attention. They are dealing with their own spiritual consequences, and you are being elevated to a level where healing and divine purpose take priority. Your energy, which once sustained these people, is now being redirected to yourself, so you can thrive without the chains that once held you to these toxic relationships. Similarly, the regret they feel towards you is a reflection of a greater calling. God is using this experience to work in their lives, to teach them about humility, compassion, and the importance of valuing those He places in their path. And while they struggle with this regret, you are being elevated to a new level of understanding and purpose. Now that you are in a place of peace and healing, the future is full of promises. God is preparing something greater and better for you. Every pain you endured, every tear you shed, is being transformed into something powerful. What lies ahead is more than you can imagine. God is opening doors that were once closed, and your purpose is being revealed in extraordinary ways. You are a chosen one, and your journey is unique. Every challenge you faced was preparation for what is to come. And while those who hurt you remain trapped in regret, you are moving forward, growing, and getting closer to the destiny God has for you. You may think that these people don't carry any regret, but in reality, they are deeply affected. The fact that you no longer feel this sensation is due to the disconnection that occurred between you. Now you are no longer able to perceive their energy because God is providing this distance so that your own healing can take place. However, their remorse is still intense, even if you don't sense it anymore.